Hi, everyone. Welcome to our transition to optimization Zoom talk this afternoon. It's fairly casual, just FYI. I do have a few things I wanted to talk about. We are streaming live in Facebook. And if you have questions while I'm talking, either put them in the Facebook group, right, in Health and Harmony under comments, and or if you're on Zoom, throw them in the chat. And then if I haven't answered your question, we'll get to it afterwards. Okay. So Sharanda asked me to speak to transition to optimization because she had a few clients getting there. And this is like really one of my favorite parts of the program because you're there, right? Let's just be clear. We're actually never really there. This was the very last thing I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it again. Or I'm going to say it now as well, is that this is a journey, not a destination. Okay. You have made a choice to make a lifestyle change. So if you think I've lost my weight, I'm done, and I'm going back to what I did before, you're unfortunately maybe in the wrong place. Okay. So you've made it, right? You've hit your goal weight and you're maybe a little freaked out. And one thing I will also say is don't overthink it. I actually have a tank top that says, excuse me while I overthink this. Okay. So a lot of us tend to do that. And we think that this time is really scary, and it's not. It's really not. I actually think it's probably the simplest part of I think the whole program is simple, right? Like eat this, drink that, you'll be fine. So I'm going to talk about transition actually fairly briefly, but I'm going to send you to places where you will find more information because this is your journey and we can't just tell you what to do. You need to learn it and absorb it and do it. Okay. And the Life book and the Habits of Health book are unbelievable resources. If you haven't been using them, now's the time. And if you have been using them, then you probably know how great they are, and they're going to help you as you move through. So in your guidebook that you got at the beginning of your journey, right? It's where you all your lean and green information is, etc. There's several different versions. I have the newest version, so I'm on page 45. Okay. On 45, there is a sample transition chart. It's that simple. Do this. Okay. So you've hit your goal weight, you're ready to transition. It takes about a month, okay, to do it properly. And I will say this is the biggest piece is people go from I've hit my goal and they go right into like optimization. And you really should not skip this piece. And this piece is you adding back in foods and taking yourself off fuelings. Okay. So, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to be on fuelings forever. Well, great. You don't have to be. That said, I mean, I still eat a couple a day. I'm 6 years post doing program. And I 100% think that, they save me on those days that I'm like, I want a candy bar. I'll grab, an Optavia chocolate mint bar instead. And it does the trick. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But so the transition is very simple. You follow this, you add back in foods each week. And I would just say, do this. Okay. So a couple other resources for you. I'm going to have to put on my glasses. In Habits of Health. Okay. I actually think this is the most underused book in this program, and it's my favorite. So part 2.8 is all about transition. Okay. It is called, sorry, where is it? Where is it? My goodness. I thought I bookmarked everything and now I can't find it. It's called Healthy Eating for Life, Your Transition to Permanent Health. Page 317, it starts, part 2.8. Okay. It talks about, it actually gives you your TEE, that's your total energy expenditure. We're going to talk about that a little bit more as we get to the optimization piece. And it gives you just tons of resources. It actually gives you another transition sample menu. Oh no, that's in the Life book. Actually, no, it's in here too. So you have a couple different transition meal plans. One on page 330, I believe it is. in Habits of Health, and then page 279 in the Life book, okay? So these are things, these are elements and chapters that you really just should read, and beyond, of course, okay? But there's just really great information in here, and it gives you lots of suggestions. And so that's what I say about transition. In the Life book, actually, the transition is elements 14 and 15. Okay, also super important. And page 278 is, again, a transition plan. Page 279 is a sample meal. Okay, so you could take that meal plan, you could take that and like mix and match, right? Like write it down for yourself. And I mean, keep it simple, right? What's that? Keep it simple, sister. Kiss. Do that. Okay. I know I'm moving fast, but if you're writing this down, if you're watching this, write down these page numbers. So I'm just going to reiterate. You've got your guidebook for transition in Habits of Health, part 2.8, in your Life book, elements 14 and 15. And in there, page 278 has a transition plan. Page 279 has a sample meal plan. I think it's for a week. Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit more about like, what to eat post transition. So again, let's say you've hit your goal weight, you've transitioned. Now what? Now, I think this is where people really freak out. Okay. Because of course you're not going to go back to eating the way you did. This has been a lifestyle change, and you want to keep up those healthy habits. All right. So what I always tell my clients are three things, like the three most important things that I think you need to come away from this program are: eat every 3 hours forever. Oh, there's my thumbs up. Drink your 80 plus ounces of water. Often I know it gets down to 65, but if you get up to that 80, you're going to feel better. So you're going to drink minimum 65 ounces of water forever. Okay. And you're going to move your body daily forever. Okay. Now, does that mean you won't have days that you don't drink your 64 ounces of water? Absolutely. Does that mean there's going to be days when you didn't get out and walk or work out or whatever? Absolutely. Okay. But that's okay. So it doesn't mean you have to do all those things every single day. I do think that eating every 3 hours is really the most important part, because the second you don't, your glycemic levels drop and you have to crawl your way out of it, and you're hungry and there's potato chips or cookies or whatever you have in the house because you have kids, maybe, and that's when we start making bad decisions. I know that's when I start making bad decisions, when I haven't eaten. Okay. So you're going to eat well every 3 hours. Okay, well, what am I eating every 3 hours? Because I don't want to eat fuelings anymore. Maybe, right? I mean, I don't want anyone to eat 5 fuelings for the rest of their lives a day, honestly. I mean, that's not what we're here for. But Habits of Health, again, it's part 2.6, page 278, 279. 100-calorie fueling type options, okay? Those are meant for once you've finished program. And those are like yogurt and fruit, peanut butter or almond butter and veggies, that kind of thing. Lots of great stuff. That said, I would love to see everybody adding a little bit more protein, okay? So some of those options might not have any protein. And I think we all need protein every meal. Coming back to that. Okay, so you've transitioned, and how do I know how much food to eat and how much exercise to do without gaining weight, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out your total energy expenditure and your basal metabolic rate. And those calculations are in Habits of Health, page 325 to 327. They're actually also in the Life book, somewhere else in one of these sections that I mentioned, you'll see them in there as well. You can also Google that. Okay. It's super easy. And it's like, I mean, I can't remember the calculation. I know the number 220 is in there. It's like 220 minus your weight times something else. So you figure that out. And then you track your food. Okay. I do think tracking your food after you've transitioned for a solid month is a really good idea. So I encourage, well, actually, I'm sorry, I don't even encourage. I require most of my clients to use MyFitnessPal. It's a free app. And it is the best way that I found. And if somebody has a better way, I'm open to hearing about it. But it will track everything. It will figure out your TEE, I believe, for you, and then you can track your food. And what it does is it tracks your proteins, your macros, your fats, or I'm sorry, it tracks your macros, your proteins, your fats, your carbs, right? Which is what Optavia has been doing for us this whole time. So that's great. But now we want to make sure that we're still getting all of that. So MyFitnessPal will track that for you. Also, by the way, Optavia fuelings are in there, so that's kind of nice. So the first week or so, it's a little cumbersome in that you have to input everything that you're eating. But if you're like me and you eat the same thing for breakfast every day, it's really easy to just click, oh, I had my 2 eggs and my spinach, and it all goes in there. So you're going to do that for like a month, and you are going to work closely with your coach. I think I'm not sure if that's what Terry said, but you are going to work closely with your coach during this time. And you're also going to I'm not a huge fan of the scale long term, but during this time, to make sure that you're not gaining or losing weight, the scale is a good thing. And I actually, in fact, Dr. A suggests twice a week during this time period. Okay. And during transition, just to make sure that things are working properly. So, I mean, I will say in MyFitnessPal, I think it says that I'm supposed to intake like 1,800 calories a day before I exercise. That feels high to me. I don't eat that much, and I'm not losing weight, and I'm not gaining weight. I mean, I've gained a little, truth be told, but, so anyway, MyFitnessPal is a really great tool. And it will track it for you, and you'll do, a solid month of that. And then, maybe you stop using it, or maybe you continue to use it. I mean, some people use it nonstop. So again, people are, afraid of gaining their weight back. And I think if you do the things we said, you eat every 3 hours, you drink your water, you move your body. And I will say, Sharon and I talked about this, that I think there's not enough emphasis on moving your body. Yes, you can do this exercise or this program without needing to exercise, but moving your body, it's what we're made for, you guys. It's essential. And there's new data that has come out that says a 30-minute walk every single day drastically reduces the risk of dementia. Yes, please. Right? I don't want dementia. I don't want my family to have to put up with me through dementia. I'm terrible enough as it is. I can only imagine what that would be like. So walking, it's great not only for our physical body, but it's great for our brains and our emotional and mental state. All right. So I'm a fan of the 90-10 rule. I'm in optimization. I do all the things. I eat every 3 hours. I drink my water. I move my body every day. But yes, do I make some bad choices? Absolutely. Yes. Do I go to a party and eat bad stuff? Yes. It's okay. Okay. Like, it's not like we're strict and rigid. This is a lifestyle. 90% of the time, I do really well, especially when I'm at home. And a lot of the times when I'm out, I do really well as well, right? You'll do really well also. But you might make some bad decisions, or I'm not going to call it a bad decision. I'm going to call it a different decision. Okay. A different choice. And that's okay. All right. Tomorrow's a new day. We actually have a saying, like, you're 3 hours away from your next great decision. So if you ate the giant cookie from the coffee shop, it's okay. Maybe you're not going to do that every day. You're not, right? Probably not. And you're going to feel really awful tomorrow. Right? That's actually the biggest tell, is the first time you make a different choice, you're like, oh, okay. When you're feeling really good, you guys, You want to continue to feel really good. And it doesn't feel good to feel bad. It's like a hangover, right? You have like a sugar hangover. It's really, I mean, like if you're a drinker and maybe you stop drinking while on program and then you go back to having one too many drinks, you probably feel it a whole lot more than you used to. And I will say, I drink, but I have one drink now if I have any, because I don't want to feel bad tomorrow. Okay, so sorry, I get off on a tangent. We talked about MyFitnessPal, the 90-10 rule. Let's talk a little bit about when you're
Deb,
out.
may I ask a question about the Fitness Pal?
Yes.
Now, did you get that for free or did you have to pay for it?
So there is a free version. There should be a free version. A 1 month free? No. That said, there is a paid version. It's $20 and it gives you way more information. It gives you all your macros. I think the free version might not. And I actually encourage my clients to do the paid version for 1 month to get all that data. We're fans of data over here. But you don't have to. I really don't think you need to. You don't have to. Okay. So if you don't want to do the free version, I would have to look at it again. To be honest, I haven't been using it a lot lately. But I have a client about to start using it, so I was going to start using it again. So we can take a look at that, and maybe if we need to do an update, in the comments or whatever on this recording, we can do that. So let's talk a little bit about, what do I eat? So, pages 278, 279, right? The 100-calorie fueling type options. But then also like when you go grocery shopping, all right? Dr. A talks a lot about this in Habits of Health. Talks about the 9-inch plate, talks about the color coding of the plate, talks about shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. Don't go in the aisles. That's where all the packaged stuff is, right? The cereals, the chips, the bars, the stuff loaded with sodium and sugar. Okay. But you're going to probably do that. And what I suggest is if you haven't already started doing this, like really start looking at labels. You want to be looking for less than 5% sugar is what our fuelings are. So start looking for less than 5% sugar in items that you buy. And I hate to say it, but you will have a really, really hard time. There's not a lot out there. There's some newer stuff coming out that has less grams of sugar, which is great. However, you also want to look at the sodium, and often something that is low sugar might be high sodium. So less than 10% per serving on the sodium. Also not super easy, but a little easier, okay? On the sugar, I will go up to like 8 or 9, but I'll tell you what, like if I see something, I've gotten to the point, I'm like, nope, I just put it back. Don't need it. So you just have to get in the habit. It's like habits of health, right? It's everything else. These are habits we have to get into. So we start shopping, we start looking for things. I mean, obviously we should still be eating lean and green. So I always say that ideally I try to live my life on a 4, 2, and 1. Okay. And I'm not losing weight. I'm getting enough calories. So like maybe instead of 100-calorie meal, I'm doing 200 calories, all right? Because you can up your calories. And once you figure out your TEE, you'll see how many calories you can intake for the day versus your activity level, et cetera. And so like a typical day for me, I'm just going to say what might be for me, is, well, I wake up and I have the same bar. I've literally had the same bar every day for 6 years. And that is the Berry Crisp. I have it with my coffee. And then now, since we've brought in our new protein shakes and EAAs, and I do want to speak to those, I actually will typically make a shake. So I'll have my bar and I'll have a shake. And I like the new shakes because they're higher in protein. Because again, we all need more protein. Women of a certain age, we definitely need more protein, and really women over 30. I mean, that's the certain age, 30 and beyond. Over 50, we're losing more per decade than the 30 to 50-year-olds, okay? So I like I said, protein with every meal. So I'll do like a bar and then I'll have a shake. Then I will either go take my dog for a walk or I'll go work out and I'll come back And that's when I have like my first lean and green, and I'll do eggs and veggies. All right. And then 3 hours, that'll hold me steady for a while. Then but I won't go longer than 3 hours. And then 3 hours, I'll do like some berries and yogurt. All right. Then another 3 hours, I usually will do a fueling. I'll do a bar. I'm lazy. It's the middle of the day. Grab it, depending on if I'm doing massages or teaching or whatever. How many is that? I don't know how many fueling. I think that was 3. So the bar, the shake, another bar, a lean and green. So I've had 3 fuelings and a lean and green already. Okay. So then I'll have some other kind of snack. Like I'm a fan of almond butter. So I'll do almond butter with something. And then I'll have my dinner. That's it. Right? It's easy. Or I might save a fueling depending on the timing. I'll save it for afterwards because I do love sweet at the end of the night. Some habits die hard. Right? The protein powder, our new protein powder, honestly, I think is a must for everyone, especially for optimization. Okay. Maybe you don't want to eat fuelings, but a shake or 2 a day is a really good idea. You can doctor it up too. Like I love to doctor a shake up. I'll make a shake, I'll throw in some spinach, maybe some berries. It's a meal, right? That's a meal. And then the EAAs, like if you're working out, even if you're not working out, if you're just walking, if you're an active human being in any way, the essential amino acids are really great. They're great for muscle soreness, and they're great for building muscle and maintaining muscle. And again, I, being well over 50, am losing muscle, rapidly, apparently. So that is one of the reasons I work out. And the other reason, the reason I intake the protein powder and the essential amino acids. Again, you will make different choices. It's okay. And again, this is a lifestyle change. This is not I lost my weight and I'm done. I'm sorry if that's what you were expecting. It is. But the good news about moving through optimization, you guys, is the healthier you get, the healthier you want to be. And it doesn't stop. Sharanda, lost her weight and started running marathons, right? People do like amazing things post program. We have some coaches in the company that are now like world-class bodybuilders. Like they win competitions. They were like 100 pounds overweight combined. Now they win bodybuilding competitions. I mean, there's just so much that you can do. I mean, I'm 57. I teach multiple classes. I work out. Like I teach yoga and fitness classes, and, I don't want to stop, right? I want to be doing this when I'm 80. So, that's about all I have for you guys. I hope it was, okay. I'm going to look and see if there's any questions. Yeah. So Terry said, work with your coach. Yeah. This is not like watch this video, read the book, you're done. I mean, if you do nothing else, read those books because they are a coach. The life book, the habits of health book, but your coach is going to help you, right? And remind you of all the things you need to do. All right. Any other questions?
There was one question in the live streaming. A person said she needed help after transition. So you've covered that, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little bit more about any of that. Like she's gone through transition, it appears, and like how do you keep it up? And I think you touched on some of those.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I feel like that was most of what we talked about, right? Like the eating every 3 hours, the drinking your water, moving your body, no brainer, non-negotiables, right? Except that you will not do them sometimes, and that's fine. My Fitness Pal, track it. All right. I don't know if I said this, but I frankly hop on the 5 and 1 typically at least once a year. I hop back on it just to rein things back in and feel good. Okay. I don't do it for a long time. I do it for two to 3 weeks usually. And then I'll switch back into the 4, 2, and 1 and kind of wean myself back off. But so doing those 3 non-negotiables, using my Fitness Pal to figure it all out, right? Use the data and read the books. Okay. There's tons of information on optimization. Dr. A, again, talking about how to grocery shop, how to, use your plate properly. You can still use all those lean and green meals. You can maybe just have a little bigger portion if you want. Okay. So you're not as restricted calorie wise, but everything can increase a little bit. That's what I would say.
Did
Okay.
anybody else have any questions?
I'm going to stop recording. And we can keep going because we're streaming, but I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. If you end up with questions, please put them underneath this video in Be the Dominant Force, where you're watching it right now, and reach out to your coach.